Hi guys, hope you're well. Welcome to DOdaily. Thursday thoughts. Your questions answered. Live, of course. It's Des here. I'll start today by saying if you've got anything to add throughout, please drop your comments. Please let me know anything you've got to add to anything I say. I'd love to sort of interact and get you involved wherever I can. Really looking forward to getting stuck in. Usual format, looking at those targets I've been working at, which you guys set me a few weeks ago. Last week's throwback, and then a couple of questions to get stuck into, hopefully to pass on some relatable, honest, real information about how we can cope with what's happening, deal with activity, and just get that little bit more. That's all I'm looking to do here. Not trying to be too technical or scientific, just a normal person trying to pass on normal information. If you've not seen it before, it'll all become clear, but I always start by letting you know how I'm feeling fantastic at the moment, whilst I'm still getting over that arm injury that's been pretty dominant over the last few weeks. Stopped me from doing some of the things I want to do, stopped me from doing lots of activity. I've actually managed to get out and getting plenty of activity over the last few days. So I'm absolutely flying because of that. Really missed it. Really, I'm always encouraging people to make the most of it. This is partly what this is about, as well as trying to encourage all-round sort of self-development and well-being. But I'll encourage activity, and I always say to people, just remember what it's like when you can't have it. Yesterday at the running club in particular, I was really looking forward to getting back amongst it, really sort of excited and enthusiastic, and I've just not been there, and as positive as I try to be, when I can throw in some activity as well, I'm absolutely buzzing. Like I say, hopefully that passed on to the running club and created a bit of positive energy, got a little bit more from those attending. And this is all I'm trying to do on a daily basis through DOdaily, is be enthusiastic, positive about the things I do. Show that despite what happens, life always happens, regardless of how good things are, how positive I'm trying to be. I'm not naive, I'm not stupid, I'm not trying to say it's constantly good, because it's not. But there's ways of dealing with it, isn't there? And there's ways of dealing with the bad stuff, and that's all I'm trying to do, is show that we can crack on regardless and do what we enjoy. So feeling really good. Enjoyed putting yesterday's video together. If you've not seen that, please check back on it. It was just a few tips on how we can take on a challenge in December when it might get tough. The cold weather's kicked in. At the moment, I'm absolutely freezing. I need to get changed, really. Just got back from a coaching session, the DOdaily coaching I do, the actual stuff I do in person here. This is kind of a free offering of that, where I'm trying to encourage people to work to targets. And a great session. Again, got involved. Didn't do as much as I'd hoped, or work, like the effort weren't as much as I was doing before the injury, but I was involved, and that's all that matters, isn't it? Really sort of pleased with myself, pleased with the guys. I said afterwards, lots of positivity around it. And again, it creates all the energy, and the positive energy sort of transmits itself into the effort. And that's all it's about. And that's all I'm trying to do here, is just pass on some of my spirit, some of the spirit created from other things, to those looking in. Like I say, I read through the format. So starting with those targets, no takeaway coffees until the end of the year. Of course, these are the things I asked you guys to set me a couple of weeks ago. Still not had a takeaway coffee. It's becoming a bit easier. I'll speak about diets a little bit more and come back to this shortly, but I'd just like to run through these. Run a sub 27 5K. Again, that one's been a bit sort of, I've not been able to even attempt that because I've not been running. Last 2 days, I've covered 5K. Slightly different today. I did one yesterday. It was about 31 minutes. I took it easy. Again, I've got to be careful because of my arm injury, and it's all to do with the nerves and the vibrations and that. So I've got to take it easy, but at least it's a start, isn't it? It's me getting something on the board, with 4 weeks to go before the end of the year and a massive improvement in my arm situation. Perhaps I can give that a go. I know when I'm on it, when I'm fit, I can easily do that. So whilst I'm not there yet, I've got time on the board and something to work at now. Hopefully I can carry on tomorrow and chip away at it between now and the end of the year. Of course, all these targets, I failed to say, all these targets are before the end of the year. Get to 100 subscribers. Getting there, 28 to go. I did a lot of work yesterday with a friend who really supports me with this, who advised me to do 1 or 2 little bits. So yesterday's video, again, do check back on it. I'll keep referring to that. It was just those tips on how we can sort of keep going in December. But 1 or 2 things you might have seen change, and over the next couple of days you'll see a few changes. So hopefully that encourages more people to get involved. I'm asking people to interact all the time. There's your chance to get involved. So I'm just working at it. It's a slow burn. I appreciate that. The nature of the subject, trying to sort of encourage people to be that little bit better. Who wants to admit that they're not there? I'm quite happy to do it. I'm quite out there and open. This is what it's about. Like I say, a bit of self-development, a bit of encouragement to take part in more activity. But all I can do is keep banging the drum, and hopefully, that'll build up in time. Not quite sure I'm going to hit that one, but I can only do that with your help. So if you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button. That would be absolutely fantastic. Do 5 park runs you haven't done before. I'm actually up to 3, and last week on Thursday when I was talking about this, I said I've got my 4th coming up at the weekend, but then the snow fell. We actually made a little trip away purposely to get this park run in. It was nice though. We had a night in a hotel and got a lie in watching the snowfall outside. It was really quite cozy, and it was just nice to have a Saturday morning off, to be honest. Despite the fact that I can't do a lot of the things I do, I'm always around sort of activity and park run and what others are doing. So it was just nice to have that lie in and a bit of time. But this week I'll be back at it. It gives me a chance to maintain the challenge, getting this 5K in every day. But I'll be up at Monsell Trail. It's the first one back, and me and Kay have been eyeing it up for a long, long time now, months, possibly years, just saying we've got to get up to that one. It's on the edge of the Peak District. Really, really nice, really sort of picturesque. I think it's an out and back, but unique for park run as well. But really looking forward to that. Invited some of the Do Running guys to join us, so that'll be number 4. And then the week after, I'll be going to another football match where we can possibly get in number 5. And that's in Wales. So that's really sort of exciting. Never actually ran in Wales. Probably don't mean too much, but for the purpose of this challenge, that'd be great to do that. So really looking forward to that. Lose an average of £2 per week between now and Christmas. I won't lie to you. This is one I've been really looking forward to speaking about, because I'd mentioned in the last couple of weeks, I've been a bit stuttery with starting the diet, but since a week last Monday, 11 days in now, I've really, really hit it hard. I mentioned last week how I was feeling good about it 4 days in. Can't really judge much on 4 days, there's still time to sort of fall flat on your face and cave in. But now 11 days in, I've really, really stuck to it. And I've lost nearly a stone, literally just under a stone in 11 days. Eating properly, still doing what I should, just literally cut out all the things that we know don't work. I've had a couple of beers once, I've had no chocolate, I've had no sweets, I've had no bread, I've had no crisp, I've had no savouries, I've eaten a lot of rice, peas, chicken, salmon, shakes for breakfast, and whilst there's different ways of going about this. This is what works for me. I nibble away for the day on fruit and nuts and soup. those kind of things. So I've just really stuck to it, and like I said, I've lost nearly a stone, so I'm well on target for that. Having lost a couple of pounds before that, still, I've got about half a stone to go in 4 weeks. At this rate, of course that's going to slow down. I'm not daft enough to think it's going to carry on like that. We all lose more weight initially, and then it gets a little bit harder as we adjust. But I'm just really pleased with it. Really got stuck into it. It's given me focus again, and perhaps it's helping my body in many ways. Losing a bit of weight. The pain is subsided just a little bit again. It is a bit sort of up and down, and it can inflame as quick as it settles down. But it's possibly helping me, isn't it? I'm feeling better about myself. I'm feeling a lot more positive. I've actually found that ability to get out there for a run again. And that's what losing weight does. It gives you a bit of confidence, it gives you a bit of self-belief, and makes you sort of think, yes, I can do it again. And if it's something as small as that can improve so many things, then why not? I've got to really keep at it. We're getting up to Christmas, so that's going to make it harder as well. Of course, there's all that extra indulgence available. There's parties, there's nights out. I'm still going to do those. I'm not ruling them out. I'm not saying I'm not doing anything. I'm just, when I'm not doing those things, I'm just working really hard at it. Giving it my best shot, and it's working at the moment. Of course, we'll see how that goes, but really pleased to report that I'm well on track with that one. And those are the targets, guys. Those are the things that people have set me a challenge till the end of the year. I'm always talking about targets, challenges, setting the guides for the coaching, these things, and they've thrown them back at me. Some of them are a little bit tougher than others. Some of them are going well. Some of them are not going so well. Some of them I'm struggling with, especially those subscribers. Make sure you subscribe. That's really important. But like I say, in a great frame of mind I'm at the moment. All of them seem achievable, and that's all that matters. As long as I'm working towards them, whether I hit them or not, I always say to the guys, if it doesn't happen, we go again. If we fall flat on our face and we take a backward step, make sure you take 2 forward steps next time, and then you'll be in front of where you was when it all went a bit wrong. And that's all that's important, isn't it? Just making those small improvements, step by step, day on day, week on week, month on month, you know what I'm talking about, and trying to be that little bit better about what we do. So moving on to last week's throwback, what do you think about when you're being active? I got given this question. Kay asked me, actually, we live in each other's pocket, and I'm quite happy with that. But it's quite interesting that she asked me, because of course when we get out, we're on our own. We've got a chance to sort of blank everything out if we want, and that's quite often what I do. I'm not saying there's any issues in sort of what I need to think. Sometimes I use it to cope with stresses. Sometimes it makes me feel even better than I'm feeling, all those kind of little things. We know the obvious benefits from it. It improves mental health, activity, we lose weight, all those benefits kind of build on top of each other. But generally, I go out there, and because I'm not a natural runner, I really believe I'm not natural. It's somebody who battles with my weight, doesn't find it easy. When I don't run so much, like recently, I put weight on, it becomes a bit of a slog. So quite often, I'm just literally thinking of getting it done, and playing little mind games to myself about running to the next lamppost before I start running to this. I barely stop when I run, especially when I'm on form. As hard as it is, I'm quite good at churning it out. So it's just these little mind games about getting through, And then when I've done it, all them endorphins hit me, that amazing feeling, and I feel absolutely fantastic. And that feeling for that couple of hours is what we really get addicted to. It's not actually pounding the pavements that does it, and that for someone who doesn't run, they might not understand that, you see. So for me, it's just, I don't find it easy. So those who might not find it easy might think, well, what do you get from it then? It's actually that period after where you can look at it, as runners, we love a stat. so you can compare it to other things, and just sort of use it to feel good about yourself. That's all it is. So getting into the other people's responses, and I appreciate all the feedback as ever. Kay says when she's doing a race, I think about what I'll write in my blog write-up. Kay likes to, whilst I vlog, Kay likes to keep a blog of all her races, She publishes it. I'll post a link on this video. Please check some of them out. So when she does a big event, she likes to write about it. Keep it as a bit of a diary. Again, a way of monitoring her own progress, looking where she was at a certain point and looking how far she's come. And believe me, she's come a long way in the last few years. So that's a great thing to do, isn't it? Think about the things you're enjoying, you're taking from the race. Are you going to use it to even more of a positive effect in terms of putting a blog out? So that's brilliant. That's absolutely fantastic. Tom says, I try my best to completely clear my head. That's what I was kind of touching on there, wasn't it? I've used it a lot to after stresses. When I first got into running, I've documented it well through DOdaily that it was a tough time for me. It was a time I was making lots of changes. It wasn't easy. And it's just that empty space sometimes to get out there, and really cut off from the rest of the world. Get yourself lost. I used to go out and not really plan routes. It's not always the best thing to do, but by not planning routes, I had to think where I was going next. I had to, like I say, I had that battle of finishing because I didn't find it easy. And that meant I completely forgot about everything else going on around me. And it's like what I said lots of times about sleeping on things. You always feel that little bit better for doing it. If you give yourself a bit of time, whether it's out running, a bit of sleep, you always feel that tiny bit better. And then when you come back and shower and the endorphins are going, you feel that little bit better. As bad as the situation can be, it can't be made worse by getting in activity and doing plenty of exercise. So thanks for that response. Andy says, I use the time to think about work and coming up with new ideas. I thought this was great. This was a conversation I had at the running club. Andy was saying that basically when he's struggling with a project, he mentioned university, and now he works as a scientist, and there's ways he has to sort of figure things out. Sometimes it's not until he's out running and he's not thinking about it, like I just said there, and then the idea just pops into his head. And the conversation kind of got quite deep. I was talking about his subconscious and how it must be ticking away somewhere, but it's great for that as well, isn't it? When you do clear your mind a little bit, sometimes what you need to answer just pops out, and that's what Andy's saying there. So being a scientist like he is, obviously there's confusing things to work out. So it's a really good way of sort of de-stressing, but then coming up with a conclusion. So great answer that. Really appreciate getting that. Sarah says, I like to run in the morning and use the time to plan my day. Again, I do on a Friday morning when I attack the day. I'll be back out there tomorrow. It's brilliant, isn't it? Just time. If you are a morning runner, just to sort of compartmentalize what you're doing. We all generally know what we're doing tomorrow. I know what I'm doing tomorrow, but whilst I'm out walking, I'll kind of put, without really putting timescales on it, I'll say I'm doing this, then I'm doing this, then I'm doing this, then I'm doing this, and all of a sudden you've got a bit of a picture of how the day's going to work out. I do it for my weekend as well. And then if it does work out to plan, absolutely brilliant. Of course, I always say don't get too downbeat if it doesn't. But generally, when we put things in order, when we say we're going to do something I say a lot this on DOdaily, we do it. So if you use time in the morning, there's nothing worse really, and I can be guilty of it because I am a rubbish sleeper, of jumping out of bed and going straight to work, or like chucking your clothes on, getting in the car and getting to work, like all within half an hour. It's rubbish. It's absolute rubbish, and I'm so guilty of it at times. It's so much better when you can get up, have a bit of time, perhaps go for a run, do exactly what Sarah's saying there. You go to work, your productivity is probably so much higher. You finish pleased with yourself because your productivity has been higher, and then you might want to do other things. You might enjoy, then you'll probably enjoy it because you've got your activity in, you've had a good day at work, all these things start building. Positive energy starts building and sort of piling up on each other. And before you know it, you're absolutely flying. So that's a great way of sort of attacking the day as well. Michelle says, I think about what I'm going to eat and to eat as a treat for doing the run. Again, if that's what it takes, I'm in a diet at the moment. I'm very guilty of when I do lose weight, when I am feeling quite fit, I believe I can eat what I want. And whilst that's sometimes the case, you can't always outrun a bad diet either. Once things start settling down, at the moment the running is only going to assist it. But if I get too indulgent, overindulgent, the weight can start creeping on. But the odd treat here and there, I'm not discouraging anybody from doing whatever it takes. If you're going to have the treat, but go for a run for it, that's absolutely brilliant, isn't it? So thanks for that input. Some great answers there, and that's all I'm trying to do is sort of prove that it's okay to think different things. Lots of the questions I get in person or through this is about what should I be thinking about? What should I be doing? Why am I thinking this? Why am I doing that? And you think, well, it's fine as long as you're out there doing it. As long as you're out there doing it, as long as it's conscious in your mind, it means you're making an effort. It means you're doing what you can to sort of get involved. And got a comment coming in here from Dawn. She says she thinks about post-pint lager of shandy when she's doing an event. If I'm just running, I count my steps. And that's a great thing. Again, just sort of on the back of the last comment and the tweet, if you're ever going to treat yourself, and I mentioned I'd had a couple of pints this week. That was after I'd done an event. If you're going to have a treat, make sure you've earned it. Don't fall into the entitlement trap, especially if you've got big goals like I have with my weight. Don't think, well, I can do all this, because you can quickly get out of that good habit. One good thing leads to another, one bad thing can lead to another. But if it's something you always do after an event, and it's the thing that sort of sees you through to the end, that's brilliant. And the thing about counting steps, that's interesting. Everybody knows Paula Radcliffe. Paula Radcliffe actually counts. This is what led me to this question ultimately, and led me to think about it. And then me and Kay was talking about it. Is Paula Radcliffe counts minutes in her head, and she knows how many minutes she has to count, which is bizarre for a whole marathon. So she knows where she is all the time, but all she's doing is counting. So it's taking her mind away from how difficult it is, how much she's when she starts to struggle, she's still got to do that count. She still knows where she is in the race, and if she's ahead of where she should be, she knows. It's really interesting, that, isn't it? That the psychology behind it, that somebody can do a whole marathon as quick as she did them. She was a world record holder, and she counted seconds in her head, just continuously. And like I say, I play those mind games, not quite the same, but I play a mind game of looking at lampposts, hill training especially, like we've been doing tonight, looking at the next object rather than looking at the top of the hill. Just little things that get you through. And it's just interesting how different people work, and that's what I'm saying. It's just a way, and that's all that throwback question is just to show that we all do things differently. Not everybody's the same, but we can draw inspiration from different places. So once again, thanks for all that input. Getting stuck into the questions today. Again, really grateful for these. It's important for me to keep receiving them. It's fantastic to be able to do this, and when people do sort of feedback, and really do appreciate it. Without that on a Thursday, I couldn't do it. As ever, if you've got anything to add to these questions, please drop me a comment. If you're watching after the live show, keep keep the comments coming, keep the questions coming. There'll be details at the end of the show where you can post them to, but really enjoy getting these. So first one from Kay. Of course, this week I've been talking about the Advent Activity Challenge I set the guys who do running and anybody that wanted to get involved. Basically running 5k a day I'll correct myself. Completing 5k a day of your activity of choice. Mine will be running, of course, but swim, walk, cycle, open to everybody. But when it comes to a running streak, which I'll be doing now, and most of the guys around me will be doing, what's your favourite thing about doing a running streak, and what are the benefits? So basically, for me personally, the benefits are I just get really, really confident and I feel strong. Some people say running every day, what does that do for you? That must make you tired. You must get injured. It can do, but I spoke a lot on the video yesterday. One of the tips was about taking rest. One of the real important the most important thing about taking easy days, I spoke about taking easier days than normal. So you can't go out and run it at PB pace every day or trying to beat yesterday, because if you try and run it like that, you will get injured. You will get tired even quicker. There will be days when you're naturally demotivated or not motivated to do it. So the important thing is just to sort of take those days where you take the pace off, pick your head up, look what's around you, find somebody else to run with, use running groups. And the thing is, what the benefits then sort of come back to you later on. Streaks are difficult, but for me, they make me feel stronger. When I know I can get up and do it. If I feel I can't do it every day, I don't feel like I'm in quite the right place. And I don't always run in a running streak, but as long as I feel I can do it every day, I've got the confidence to do it. Personally, I tend to be a lot less. I get injured more when I don't run every day. A lot of people might argue that point, but again, I just feel that consistency. The belief I can do it, but taking the pace off really helps me get through it. Those days when you've just got to go slug around the block. I've done it where I've just gone like 10 times around the block to cover 5k. The most boring, mundane one you can imagine. But once you've done it, it's done. And again, it's that feeling every single day of achievement. Me, again, I'll say what I said before about not being a natural runner. I just feel achievement from doing it. Not everybody will get the same achievements. There's people out there that can do amazing things, a lot more than I can do, who probably don't get the same feeling from it. I love it. I'm not ashamed to say I absolutely love it. I love that feeling, And again, if you've had a bad day, that's the one thing you can take out of it. My favourite thing about doing it is Christmas Day, running on Christmas Day. And I keep saying, I've said it a lot. People say, you don't run on Christmas Day, do you? Absolutely. Because how good is Christmas Day anyway? I love it. I love Christmas. I love the spirit. I love having too much food, having too many mince pies, having too many drinks. But if you can say I ran at the start of it and then that's signed off a challenge of 25 days running, that's amazing, isn't it? Some people can't get up and run one day. Some people haven't got a choice to get up and run one day. Yes, some people could do it for 500-600 days, or Ron Hill did it for 40 years or whatever he did it. Somebody will probably correct me on that because I'm not quite sure how long he did it, but he did a massive running streak. But that's not me, is it? I get achievement from getting out there and set myself small targets, just getting out for a run, whether it's 31 minutes, 27 minutes or 22 minutes, which is my PB. I just love getting out there, and that's my absolute favourite thing. And the Christmas Day part of it, coming back thinking I've done this, and doing it now at a park run, around other people who'll be doing something similar. What a great way to achieve doing it with Kay. We got a post crop up yesterday, I think, saying 4 years ago, me and Kay were doing this exact thing. Started the streak, but it was at the start of our relationship, and we're still doing these things we really enjoy. And when you get so much from it like that, when you feel it in that sense, you know, and you've got somebody to share it with, why not do it? You know, why would you change? The benefits to it, like I say, will come to you sort of later on. For me, it's about feeling stronger. But when you do run in a streak, what often happens is towards the end of the streak, you're feeling really, really tired. Like I say, you might struggle for motivation. For me, it's the build up to the Christmas, the countdown. Kind of flip it on its head after 12, start counting down. So rather than go day 1, day 2, day 3, turn it into 13 to go, 12 to go, 11 to go. Counting down seems to be so much easier than counting up. Again, another sort of mental game I play with myself. But what tends to happen is if you have a little rest between Christmas and New Year, and I was just talking to a guy at the running club about this as well, who was a little unsure whether to take part. If you have that little bit of a rest after you've been tired, you're going to get tired towards the end of any running streak, particularly if you don't do this as the norm. If you have those 3 or 4 days off, you'll be amazed how strong you come back again. You know, it's not like, as long as you don't leave it too long, you know, as long as it's not 3 weeks, as long as you don't do 25 days and then have 3 weeks off. But if you have 2 or 3 days off, you know, and come back, particularly if it's like a park run where, whilst it's not a race, I'm not saying it's a race at park run, it's definitely not, but somewhere where it's timed or somebody's timing you and you're actually putting that effort in, you know, you'll see your times fall like a stone. And it's incredible for doing that, you know, and that for me is the real benefit, you know. Plus, like I say, Christmas Day, adding something to Christmas Day, adding something to all these groups and all these sessions that I run, you know, it just adds that little bit. And if we can do that to anything, you know, why wouldn't we? So that's a great question to start with. We've really got stuck in there. And again, it just sort of promotes what we're doing and the challenge that I've been speaking about over the last couple of days. Question 2 for Mark. What do you think of the latest COVID restriction developments? I'll be really honest. I'm not really happy about it. Don't get me wrong. I had my booster this week. You know, I'm doing what I need to do. Doing what I'm told to do. I'm definitely not an anti-vaxxer because the only way we're going to beat this is by doing what we have to do and getting through it. And if the rules are tight and strict, you know, I'm quite happy to abide by them. You know, if somebody's telling us this is what we should be doing because it's going to restrict the virus and it's going to help going forward, absolutely. But what needs to happen, and I'm going to be really honest, is we need strong leadership. You know, we've seen so many times people in power not making the right decision. Well, making a decision and then not sticking to it themselves. And there's a story this week, isn't there, about last Christmas and governments having parties. You know, if you're going to lead and make a decision and set the rules, for me, strong leadership means setting an example. You know, it's what I try to do. I'm not perfect at it. You know, I'm not saying I get it right all the time myself, but when you're in the public spotlight, you've got to do absolutely everything you can to abide by the rules. So all I'm saying is I'll do whatever it takes to beat COVID. You know, I feel I've done my bit. You know, I've tried throughout lockdown to encourage people to stick within the rules, you know, to take part in activity, you know, all the things we're told that work and that we need, you know, to build our immune systems, to be strong in the fight against it. But then other people need to do their bit as well. And that just irks me a little bit, you know. I'll be honest, I've not been 100% perfect. I've done what I feel I have to do. But then with strong leadership, you know, with strict rules, then we've got no choice, have we? We have to do what's put in front of us. And that's kind of my thoughts on it at the moment. I could say a lot more, but I'm not going to get too political or too sort of controversial. You know, I've been honest about what I think. And like I say all the time on this, that's all I try to be. But a great question, you know, it's current, isn't it? And everybody's thinking about it. What I will say is, it does worry me slightly. So that's why I'm more than prepared to do whatever it takes, because I don't want to be having a booster jab every 3-6 months. I'm not against a jab. I'm not against the vaccination, but we don't want to be in this situation forever, do we? Come on, like, do what we have to do, get it done. If everybody's vaccinated, it's going to help, isn't it? So do what you do. Of course, I understand people's freedom, but this one's a bit different, isn't it? We're not just messing with our own lives if we believe in some of the rubbish that's spouted about. This can affect other people. The reason I got vaccinated straight away, I was lucky. I'll hold my hands up and say I was lucky. I work in the NHS. I couldn't live with myself thinking I've not had this, and that I work in a hub around nurses and people are going out into the community where it could affect the vulnerable. We're not just affecting our own lives, are we, by not getting vaccinated? And again, I don't want to be too strong on this because everybody's got their own sort of rights. But people kind of say, well, you're restricting our freedom of choice. Well, not really, because if lockdowns come in, that's restriction. That's real restriction. A vaccination, whether you truly believe in it or not, just get it done. It's as simple as that, isn't it? Because then there'll be no restrictions. So if you believe in freedom and having a choice, as an individual, I believe that the Prime Minister, the World Health Association, they're not really bothered what I do on a day-to-day basis. They just don't want COVID engulfing the world, and that's as simple as it is for me. So I am getting quite into it now, but I'm going to leave it there. Moving on to question 3, and things much more light-hearted. What does your ideal Christmas day look like? From Patrick. Great question. Really looking forward to it. Again, I've touched on one of the reasons it'll be the end of the challenge. Having not run for so long, it gives me a real opportunity to look forward. And again, the countdown to the challenge is countdown to Christmas Day. Over the last couple of years, getting to the sort of crux of the question, over the last couple of years, I've really enjoyed Christmas, even with those COVID restrictions. And 2 years ago, I was recovering from an operation, so I was basically slept through Christmas Day. But I've had the chance to invite my parents over, even last year, for that one day, and we've had Christmas meal. Over the years, I've always gone to other people's, but now we've got the capacity to invite mine and Kay's parents if they want to come. So what I tend to do is get up, get that challenge done, get to park run, get my activity in. In previous years, I used to probably get up and get straight into the drinks, food. But I like to get that done, go and visit family close by, just certain members of my family, and then get back fairly early in the morning, late morning, and then crack on with dinner, and then people come to us. Our families are not really big drinkers, or my family in particular, not really big drinkers. They come over, they have lunch, and then they enjoy it because they don't have to do it themselves, and we've done it, and we love having them here, And then it's like everybody else, really. You get stuck into the Queen's Speech. I'm a bit of a royalist in that sense. I enjoy the Queen's Speech, and I'm looking forward to it this year as much as ever because, of course, she's been a little bit poorly. So, all being well, we've got that to look forward to. And then it's like everybody else. You watch rubbish on TV. Our parents go. Me and Kay have a bit of time for ourselves. And again, we just really enjoy it that way. Having the chance to stay at home quite a lot. It's brilliant because we do a lot sort of around the running. Kay does her community things with the brownies and things like that. So we've got a lot of commitments all the time and sort of being pulled from here to here. So it's a nice day for us where people come to us, and we absolutely love it. It's been perfect over the last couple of years, and it'd be nice if 1 or 2 more people could come, but it's just the way it is sometimes. And that's basically my Christmas day. Get up, run, and then get stuck into the food, and then watch the Christmas specials, and do all the silly things in the evening. And I always like to sort of have cheese and wine at night as well, or a little bit of buffet food, not that we need it, but you know what it's about. And then it's into the leftovers, isn't it, on Boxing Day? But that's my Christmas day. So on that sort of theme, what I'm going to say to you guys for a throwback question this week: what is the one thing you do every single Christmas day? And the reason I'm asking this is because I've said it so much. I've said it today. I now run, and I make sure I run on Christmas Day because I feel it's a great way of adding something to the day. I always talk about people asking me, well, you don't do that, do you? Absolutely. But there was a time I didn't. There was a time that I never even imagined I would run on Christmas Day. Like I say, before all of this, I get up and I get straight into the food and all those things. So, but what I'll say on that is I can assure you now, having that one, it's made it so much better. Gives me so much structure to it. I've just explained it to you. Whereas in previous years, was there any real structure? Not too sure. They weren't bad, don't get me wrong. I've always made the most of Christmas, always had a good time. But it's just, I just thought it'd be interesting to find out, because everybody does things slightly different, do they? You might get up for a walk, you might visit a certain person, you might have a glass of champagne for your breakfast. Whatever you do on Christmas Day, I'd love to know. Love to get some feedback. It'd be absolutely brilliant. Please post on any of the videos throughout the week. This video, if you're watching after, like I say, post it on anything throughout the week. Any of the social media posts, all the links are going across the bottom. Email des@doorunning.org.uk, and with your questions. As the weeks go on, I don't mind if they get more Christmassy themed. I'm getting into the spirit myself. I allow myself in December. And of course, this is the first Thursday of December. So I'm sure there's going to be a few more Christmas questions. But like I say, no problem answering those, or absolutely anything you've got. Really sort of looking forward to it, and like I say, with picking up with the activity, the levels picking up just now, really looking forward to getting stuck in. Dawn's back again, 23 days to go. She likes not to let anybody forget. So whilst I'm excited, I know there's someone definitely a little bit more excited than me. So, like I say, that's my Thursday thoughts. Hopefully you've enjoyed what I've got to say. It's given you something to think about, consider, a little bit of thought about activity in December, and what's going on in the world around us. I'll be back tomorrow to kind of round off what's already proving to be a pretty good week. Wake up to walk, and definitely, I've been saying it on a Thursday, I'm going to get back up to that Robin Hood way and get some of the miles off. Tomorrow, I'm going back without fail. We've got to be that way as well. So whilst it's normally a bit of an effort to get up to that part of the world where I'm at the moment, North Notts, which whilst I'm in Notts is about 40 miles away. It's Kay's dad's birthday as well, so we've got to, which is halfway there. So we've got extra purpose, and I talk about that as well, don't I? But I'm sure I'll have more to say about that on Wake Up to Walk. I'll be attacking the day, trying to keep the positivity going, trying to build it ahead of Christmas, but looking forward to this weekend as well. I'll be talking about what I've got planned, why I'm using the walk, the Robin Hood way, what I'm getting from it, hopefully taking some great pictures and posting them on the end. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate all the feedback. Just look there, quite a long one today, but that's not a problem. Thanks for those who stuck with it, who've been watching throughout. And like I say, please subscribe, get me to that 200. That'd be absolutely fantastic. If I can get there, I'll be really, really chuffed with the way things are going. Few additions, few new things coming up in the new year. So keep watching as much as you can. Please like this episode, give it a thumbs up. It just helps it kind of spread itself around the algorithms of YouTube. Been watching a few things about that, don't really get it. But again, with the help of certain people, you'll see a few changes and me trying to do what I can to improve things. So for now, guys, have a great evening. You know, get out there in the morning, get YouTube on afterwards, watch me, what I've done. If you can sort of relate to it and feel it, you know, that would be fantastic. Get off a walk, run, whatever you do, you know, and I can assure you we can all attack the day together. So till then, guys, just doing it.